The opinions you hear are that of the host and callers and do not necessarily reflect the opinion of 102.5 The Bone.
Are you ready? All right, everybody.
Pay attention.
It starts here.
Now that we're all prepared, let's start the show.
The conversation is about to get louder. You're listening to Miggs and Swig. Don Miggs, Ben Swig, Lisa, and JoJo. From music to marriage, from politics to parenting, from dating to deep thoughts and sports. Get ready for Miggs and Swig. Life out loud.
Let's get the show on the road.
Woo! I am literally, right now, my heart's beating out of my chest. My feet are moving fast, Jamie. I'm excited. This is Don Miggs. I haven't been on the show in a couple weeks. I feel like I've had coffee, and I don't drink coffee. Maybe, are there drugs that make you do this?
Yeah, oh yeah.
All right, well, I feel like I'm on those drugs. But I'm not on anything, Ben.
You should be.
High on life.
I'm just high on life because, you know, it's been just such a wonderful last couple of weeks. Life is good.
Especially for us, because you haven't been on the show, but...
That hurts.
Oh, my God.
That hurts. I've been very, very sick. Does anyone care about that?
Nope.
No.
Do we have a little violin, the smallest violin in the world bed there, Jamie?
You know, here's the thing about being sick, though. So I got really sick. You don't care, but I'm going to tell you. Got really sick.
You
like
sound very sick.
103.
You still sound like an outbreak monkey, but go ahead.
103-degree fever, throat, the whole thing. I just felt terrible. And I have this back problem, so every time I cough, it feels like someone is knifing me. You know, it's just been horrible. Excuse me. So that happens.
Not to mention the indigestion.
So that happens, and then my wife's the whole time, who's not here. Lisa's not here because she is sick, but she's still making it to the Rib Fest today. So she has her priorities, obviously.
Yes, we're very important today, judging Rib Fest. I don't know if it's the ribs, if it's the sauce. It doesn't matter.
JoJo, growing up, did you ever think you'd be the one judging the Rib Fest or just participating? Say that again, JJ.
She's Miss Ribfest. She gets to wear a sash and everything.
Oh my God! This of course would be the pageant that I would have a sash for.
She's been trained for it. I mean, your dad's a cook. I mean, loves food.
I didn't know where you were going. You were really lucky with that.
Yeah,
but you've been brought up. You've been I didn't mean that.
You look like you've been training a lot for it.
Your family loves food, and that's not a bad. I mean, your dad's a wonderful chef. I mean,
thank you.
You're the only people I know besides who'd you buy your house from? The Outback people, Basham's, who actually have an industrial kitchen in their house. JoJo's dad has an industrial kitchen, or restaurant.
Yeah.
Kitchen, and he cooks for everybody. So you have been trained for this moment your whole life.
It's not an eating contest that I would do very well in as well. But this is just it's
a judging contest.
Yeah.
What are you
You're Miss Rib Tampa 2016.
I'm very critical of food, so this is right up my alley.
Why are you wearing a bathing suit though? I thought it was just going to be...
It's a tank top.
Oh, tank
top.
Underneath.
JoJo, what time does it start where
Skank top.
people can come see your
skank top.
Judge Ribs in bikini?
I will be out there beginning at noon.
And are you, Lisa, going to be wrestling, mud
in
wrestling?
In the mud, yes.
Barbecue wrestling?
No, barbecue
sauce wrestling?
Yeah, with pigs.
Perfect.
And those would be most of our listeners.
Yes, that's why.
Oh, that was a joke.
That's why I have my, what did you just call it, a skank top?
Yeah, skank top.
I like that. It starts at noon. I'm going to be Snapchatting, so you can find me on Snapchat. I think my Snapchat name is...
You think.
Joanne.
Oh, let me think about it for a sec. Hold on, people. Let me, I think...
Joanne P83, so JOANNEP.
You guys... I hate to interrupt this.
I'm going to throw up.
You throw up on the side. No, I do.
My tongue just touched this microphone.
You wiped it off.
One of these good things about having the show on Saturday is we don't have news breaks. We don't have anything, but we do have some breaking news here to share with you that I just found on my Twitter feed. We can now call the election to Donald Trump.
Oh.
He has won the election for president of the United States.
And our hearts.
Wow.
He has won my heart.
So we can share that. That is breaking news here on the Miggs and Swig show.
I have a feeling that we're going to be getting into a lot of heavy hitting conversation.
No. Here's the truth.
We're going to try to not. Like Don and I spoke. We talked before. And
why wasn't I privy to that
because
conversation?
you were late.
Because you were late.
Because you were late.
25
but so here's the deal.
I forgot my Rib Fest papers.
And I think, Don, I'll let you speak after, but I think for our conversation, right, wrong, or indifferent, no matter who we voted for, no matter who we think or what we think or who's going to be the great president or not, all that doesn't matter. What matters now is that Donald Trump is the president of the United States.
And we got to figure out how to make that work.
Yeah, and I'm not one of those people, and even when Obama was elected in 2008, people said he's not my president. Or when George Bush was elected, he's not my president.
But no, George Bush was not my president.
Right? But when people say he is our president, he is my president.
No matter how you splice it. Right. Leave the country, then he's not your president.
And the reason he's my president is because a good presidency affects me and a bad presidency affects me. Yes. And if it was a bad presidency, I can't all say he's not my president. He doesn't, his mistakes aren't mine. But he's our president. And I truly, truly hope he is a good president.
I just hope that, and honestly, I know that anyone who listens to our show, you hear us sort of rail against probably things that most people on the show, on this station, don't rail against. And we respect all opinions, just not yours. 800-771-1025. We are happy to hear from you. And the truth, I do want to know, if he's your president, I want to know why. And if he's not your president, I'm happy to know why. I want to know what it is that he's going to serve for you. And I want to be educated, because the bottom line is this. I went to bed in a daze and I was distraught. That's the truth. And here's the real truth. It's not because I love Hillary Clinton, because I don't. Unfortunately for me, I was voting for the lesser of two evils. And I get all of the emails in Syria and Benghazi, all of this stuff. You can say whatever it is you want to say. When I take somebody at their word, and Trump has said things at his word that have been distressing to me about family, about racism, and just about life in general. So I have issues with that. But in the end, he is the guy who is our president, and I don't want to see him do a belly flop.
And the other thing is, there's a lot of talk, and I think when people who are Trump supporters who are happy that he's there, they have to understand, they have to have a little sympathy and a little empathy for half the country right now, and half the country is reeling and hurting. Okay, and it's really just a quarter of the country, because half the country didn't even bother to vote. Well, that's what I'm saying. Okay, so
actually it would be 75% of the country didn't vote for this guy.
Okay,
right. Good point.
Well, only half the 150,000.
Do the math. Half the people didn't show up, and only half of those who did.
I'm just talking about for those who voted. Okay, are hurt. And to think that we are just going to snap the finger and call the election to Donald Trump, that everybody is going to come together, is naive. Right. Okay, it's like, everybody remember Cam Newton, his interview after the Super Bowl. He was devastated. Right. Okay, imagine the Super Bowl times 1,000, and that's how people are. You asked Cam Newton 2 days after the Super Bowl to do an interview. You think he was still excited? But no, he's ripped. He's hurt.
But give it a minute. The other side is this, Ben. If you're Trump, and you need to offer the olive branch in terms of, if you want to unite people, I think what he needs to do is do something that makes the other people feel like maybe he actually is their president. Well,
that's his job now. That's his job now, because he's not the president. He's not the candidate Trump anymore.
Right.
He is
President-elect.
President-elect Trump now. So everything when he tweets, I know it doesn't. It just sounds weird.
Don't even say it again.
Okay, no, you have to, because the one thing that bothered me was when people referred to Obama as Obama. Give the guy the credit.
Of course. Oh,
he's the president.
He's the president.
Right.
No doubt.
And nobody ever gave. Even when Bush was president, I gave him enough respect, and I probably will slip up a couple times and call Trump, but he is President Trump. He will be President Trump in the next 4 years. So let's give him that respect, because it is the highest.
I agree.
Okay.
But I can still talk, right? For 4 years, we're not just going to pretend that I can still talk about it.
So his job now is to be the president for all the people.
Right.
Okay. And part of that is going to unfold, and we're going to see if he has that ability. So far, so good. He's done a great job. There was a little tweet mishap where he said, how shameful it was or something, whatever about the protesters. But his job right now is to unite the country. And the difference between something a candidate Trump says, and then the difference between something President Trump says, right? If he says some of the rhetoric he says in the election or during the primary as President Trump, markets crash. Allies, disappear, and problems happen. Candidate Trump, there's the press rails on him and so forth, but the repercussions of some of the things if he says those things as President Trump, could be catastrophic.
You know what he's done that's been wonderful so far for me?
What?
Lowered some of my Facebook friends. That's been great. I've gotten rid of some people. JoJo, I mean, how are you doing your Facebook friends? Numbers up?
Oh,
down,
I can say something
Sorry.
now.
Yeah.
Is that I'm here? I'm
Yeah,
present.
you're there. Good.
I don't pay any attention to it. I just scroll
she
past
wasn't.
it.
She's like, I'm
exactly.
sorry. What were you guys talking about?
No, I pay attention
Although
to you too.
JoJo, during the election night, now you always were not very happy when we talked about politics.
Correct.
But it seemed to me during our thread, Miggs and Swig thread, and you are listening to Miggs and Swig show here on 102.5.
Oh, that's what this is. Okay.
Yeah. That you seem to be very into it.
I've not been into it.
That's
I
double
just
negative.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. If you're not been into it. So you were into it.
Yeah. Well, she was not into
How could you not be into it? It was just
Unless you're not.
It was a frustrating process, and it was something that everybody's opinion is the right opinion, and it wasn't worth getting into arguments about because
you weren't going to change people's minds.
Correct.
Right.
And nobody was going to change mine.
And you're not going to now. Right.
Right. And that's how I feel about it. It's still, and I knew, everyone's, I can't wait till Tuesday when this is all over. And I would look at people and just go, this is just the beginning, which clearly it was.
Right.
Yeah.
Can we say though that and I'm not
we can do say
can we not to my own
Can someone put Ben on their shoulders because he's about to just
no I'm just about to blow myself but can we give credit that everybody didn't think that Hillary was or Trump was going to win and they were shocked and everything, but I did send there's an interactive electoral college map that you can play with and give states to red or
You're
blue.
such a nerd.
I'm such a nerd, but I did call it, and I sent out a tweet to Miggs and Swig. And I got every state right except for Pennsylvania. And I gave Trump Minnesota and Wisconsin, and I knew he was going to win the election. So all those people out there for weeks and weeks, we've been talking about Trump. We've been, we had Justin Day on, and I kept on saying Justin Day, he was wrong, that Hillary
Polls were wrong.
Polls were wrong. Everything was wrong.
Everyone just needed to talk to Ben.
It really is. It's a
Just listen to
thread.
me.
It's a thread through the whole system.
Simple.
It's a thread through all of what we think is right. He just proved was
well,
not.
that's what I think it came down to. I think it was not necessarily that all these people that voted for him and have supported him agree with him. I think people are tired of seeing the same old, and they want somebody different in there. They want something different to make an impact to try to get things to change.
I wish they would have voted for
think
Mickey Mouse, but that's not.
Yeah,
hey,
I hear you.
Hey, there's Frico Suave wants to comment on Trump. Let's hear. What's up, Frico? What do you got?
What's going on, guys? I don't think I've ever talked to you guys on the air before, and
Hi.
I'm actually honored that I'm able to talk to you.
Well, thank you.
We'll tell you after you speak if we're honored to talk to you. But go ahead.
No, I just wanted to weigh in. I think that what you're saying about President-elect Trump is accurate, and I want to also clarify on something as well. Wishing for his failure, and trust me, I didn't vote for him. I don't like him. But wishing for his failure, and I think Mo say this, is wishing for his failure is like wishing for the pilot of the plane to crash.
Absolutely.
We're all on board.
Yeah.
However,
Yes.
now you made a point to say that his actions thus far have been good to unify the country, but I kind of want to disagree.
Okay.
The people that he's putting on his domestic transition team are exactly what he promised in his campain.
Frico and yeah,
right.
At least for the LGBT community, for example, he hired and brought on Ken Blackwell. If I'm not familiar with him.
He said gays
Ken
were.
Blackwell said that the passing of marriage equality was worse than 9/11.
Right, and he also said that being gay was a choice.
Yes,
but
and, just bringing.
Well,
on,
we can hope that guy gets hit by a car.
Well, no,
right?
I think what Frico he brings up a good point, but I think that what his transition team does and what his actual appointments are, that is all stuff that's going to be revealed. Now, if he nominates Steve Bannon to be, which there are some rumors about that he nominates Steve Bannon to be his chief of staff, then we might have issue. I mean, it might be
exactly
we're going to have candidate because Steve Bannon. Look, people even on the right. And then it might be because they're threatening their job or whatever. But, he is not a very good guy.
Well,
I mean,
Rudy, Newt, those people, like, I'm just hopeful that this isn't, he doesn't actually make, you can't make America any more white than these people.
Right. Well,
that's
and that's, I think what Frico was saying, a lot of people were saying.
Thanks, Frico, for calling.
Yeah, thank you for calling. And is he going to appoint people, and is his policies going to be a policy of uniting the country or dividing? And that's all going to take place. But right now, like Frico said and Mo said, we cannot wish him wrong because that is like hoping that everything you have gets destroyed. Because if he does it, we all
who's not
lose.
wishing him wrong? Because I'm telling you, I wrote this on Facebook. You know who's most excited? Kris Jenner.
Oh.
Because she's right now licking her chops and setting up for 4 years from now running for president.
You did say that.
Because if it
it's going to be Jenner.
Trump, it's going to be Jenner versus
Kanye.
I don't know, Kanye.
Her son-in-law.
It could be.
Yeah.
It literally could be.
Yeah,
hey, you know what?
funny.
That's what's really exciting.
Oh God, that makes.
I'm
me
excited
so
about all
sick.
this. We're gonna. I want to get to your calls. We're gonna talk a lot about what we think about the whole the victory of Trump and the defeat of Hillary and freedom. No, and to get everybody's opinion, I want to talk about the guy who won, though he's dead. Who is that, JJ?
Gary Ernst. I also want to hear about your World Series.
I got a cough.
You do?
I do. I want to hear about his World Series adventure.
I had a great story that
JJ talk into the mic.
Thank you. I also want to talk about the effects of this social media is having on your opinion. How many Facebook friends you're winning and losing.
Ugh.
I know it's really creating havoc for me. And then I have a funny Obama story, actually, when we get back. 1-800-771-1025. You are listening to the Miggs and Swig Show.
Oh, good song. Yeah. Oh, wait, hold on. Hold on, just a sec. Just a sec here. Just give me a sec here, Dawn.
Well, if you keep talking through it.
And that is Mona.
It's a great group.
With their new In the Middle EP available now on iTunes.
I love them.
I think there are videos out. I think it came out.
It is out.
For that song, In the Middle, which is phenomenal. Bright Antenna band. Shameless plug there for my.
I can't even ask if they're good look, like if they're sexy and DTF, because I feel like all your artists are like
family.
No, I was just gonna say like
scrawny.
Yeah, and look like they just need a bath.
Oh my God,
they do.
This is so bad.
Good meal and a bath.
Yeah.
They do.
They should come over to my house. My dad will cook for them.
Ohio boys, though.
And I'll bathe them.
Yeah, out of Nashville now, but yeah, that's Mona in the middle. Go check it out.
There you go.
Mona.
I got a Mona. Hey, listen, can I tell you what happened this morning? I'm walking downstairs. My wife sometimes.
Mind my own business.
She sometimes
walking down
lights,
the street. Walking my own business.
She sometimes lights candles.
Oh.
And we have this one little table, and on the table is a picture. Several years ago, we had Obama at the house, as you know.
I do.
And there's a picture of us with Obama on the table. It's a small picture, but there's a candle next to it. And I looked at it today, and it looked like a shrine, like a remember when shrine. I started laughing out loud, and I never said anything. I didn't say anything to her. But
then it didn't happen.
All right. Well, I thought it was pretty funny.
That is funny.
Yeah, you guys are really great at helping out with stories. You know, that's why I miss Mo, because Mo, when you tell him any part of a story, he gets more out of you. You guys just don't care.
Well, maybe if you told us something new besides
All right,
the fact
Marcello.
that Obama was at your house.
That wasn't the story. It was the. That's good.
Are you
Marcello.
seriously eating and talking at the same time?
Yes, Marcello, tell us something good.
Okay, how you doing, guys? Don, it's a glad to hear you back in their station.
I need some pizza.
Is it?
I need some pizza.
Anytime you want, I'm always here for you guys.
I love Marcello.
Marcello.
I wanted to say something. Believe that Donald Trump will change 240 years of politics in this country. It's just naive. Whatever he say in the campaign, I think he was a smart person to attract half of the country that was pissed off with 240 years of corrupt politics.
Mm-hmm.
And he was smart enough to attract those people and get both with them. I mean, I give him that.
Yep.
That's true.
No
he got
question.
people
I believe
talking.
that he can change this country politics. And the other thing is, too, he's just a person. He cannot change the basis of this country. This country no go allow him to do all the stupidity that he say through his campaign. This country will stop him and go tell him, no, you cannot build a wall in Mexico. A lot of other countries try to do it. And another point, Obama's presidency was the highest we call immigrants deported in the last 20 years. Obama deported more illegals, bad illegals. That's the part that everybody got to understand. Not just the illegals that go to work every day and they basically are the backbone of this country. The illegals, they are committing crimes. The illegals, they are, come to this country just to bring drugs. Obama was the one that actually took all of them out.
Yep, and you're right, Marcello, and your facts are absolutely correct. And thank you for calling and thank you for listening. Bring that pizza. We want pizza.
Let me tell you this though about the whole immigrant thing. People leaving. I can't wait though for all the people who are saying, "Yeah, get everyone out of the country." When those people, when they start asking their kids to go work in the back and do the dishwasher or go on the field and pick the grapes. Let's see how it's going to go when that all happens. Jamie has a point on this.
Actually, to reinforce what Marcello said, everybody who thinks that Trump getting the presidency is going to destroy the country, there's this thing called checks and balances that I've not heard the phrase yet. Right. There's a Congress and there's a Supreme Court that are there to temper the president. He's not like the super wizard who can destroy everything by the pen. So,
I agree with that. But he does have a Republican House and a Republican Senate, so the checks and balances are a little lighter because he's going to be able to. But he's going to be able to get his policies through a little quicker. Now, the thing that I'm not worried about is policies. Okay, I'm not worried about
his haircut.
I'm worried about what he says and how he handles himself, and that's the concern because there's no
Deportment.
There's no checks and balances if he calls the new Prime Minister of England, I forget her name, but if he calls her Pocahontas or he makes those comments to world leaders. That's something that no checks and balances can.
I will say,
go Joe, go Ribfest Queen.
I want to
2016.
Thank you so much. In his somewhat of a defense, that I don't believe if he pissed off people the way that people presume that he would have gotten as far as he did and been as successful as a businessman as he is if he made such defamatory and slanderous and racist and off the wall comments. I'm not saying he doesn't speak out of line, but I think that there's something to be said for a certain level of honesty with people.
Right.
Yeah. Well, it's funny if you want to. I'm just realizing we have these cameras and the Bone Online. You can go check us out on the Bone Online. That over my left shoulder, my camera's pointed. There's a picture of Trump on the.
You should get Obama over the right shoulder.
On the plug-in wall, and I have him like right my over my left shoulder, which is kind of funny. So if you want to tune in to the Bone Online and see me and my buddy Trump there.
Donald Trump.
It's like Donald Stump right there.
What are we? So here's the other thing that I see that I think that part of this good temperament or whatever you want to call it, President-elect Trump is happening is he started to get the real briefings on Wednesday, and they've been coming. And yesterday he got the first daily briefing.
This is hard.
The book. It's called the book. Yeah. It's called the book, and it's a daily briefing that only the President of the United States gets. And there's a documentary I watched about those briefings and about what happens when president-elects, even if you've been in the Senate or you've been...
And they poop themselves when they see it
really
for the first time.
Because we all have these ideas of what really happens in the country with the FBI, our enemies and all that, but we don't ever know. Now he's starting to really, and that's when the weight of the presidency and the weight of the job.
Well, look what it does to every one of them.
Well, yeah. So I was saying, whenever they always have this is when you took the presidency picture, and then when he leaves the presidency picture, and they age so much.
Yeah. So he's starting to get those briefings, and it is a reality check of all these conspiracy theories. I mean, I can't even imagine what's in the book.
Well,
I don't want to.
No, I don't.
So one conversation I had with President Obama was exactly about how do you make any decisions? And it's probably something I've said before, and it's not like it's earth shattering, but he said, Don, people never come to me. No, he said, I never get asked to make decisions that are black and white. It's never like
just black.
No, you know what I mean? Like he said, it's not when it gets to him. He has so many smart people. He said the presidency, I don't ever hear it when it's like.
Well, yeah, I've heard him say before. If it's an easy decision, it doesn't reach my desk because they've already solved it before it gets to me.
Because there's so many decisions that need, and that's where these appointments that we're talking about are so key.
That's the crucial thing. That's my point.
And the chief of staff is the most important as far as the White House goes and the executive branch goes. It's the most important part
because that's the funnel too. They let things into the president. They can't really shield him.
No, they do shield him.
You shield him to an extent, but like Obama said, so if it's black and white, doesn't get there. All he gets is when it's
the black
so
stuff,
gray.
That would be appropriate.
And when it's so gray, where the decision
like
either way,
taking out Bin Laden or taking out Bin Laden or some of those made going to war. I mean, so the presidency, like I think Jamie said earlier, there's a lot of checks and balances in there.
What is President-elect Trump's wife's platform going to be?
Bullying.
6-inch heels.
Porn, legalizing porn.
Well,
but she has said, and everybody was wondering that. And a couple days before election, she had her sort of.
I must have not understood what she was saying.
She first of all had to call Michelle and ask what she would have said.
Right.
But her platform is bullying. And cyberbullying in particular.
They said bowling.
And it speaks what
knock all those pins down.
Trying to get a 240.
Which there is a bowling alley in the White House, but which you're seeing a lot now. I mean, it's among adults now, but and Don brought it up, and we want to talk about it later. But this, this Facebook and this not bullying. I mean, yeah, you call it
bullying.
Yeah, and these I was talking to this person the other day, and her dad won't talk to her. Or her brothers and sisters. I mean, there's a divide in this country that's happening right now, and I believe that it's going to get better. It's just going to take time.
I don't even, I don't even understand that. I don't understand how
people love drama.
Oh my God, it's so aggravating how personally people take stuff. There's only one Donald Trump that should ever be offended by any of the stuff that anybody says. Other than that, it's all opinions and people are entitled to them. And I don't understand why everyone has to get so up in arms.
Right.
Whoa, you're getting up in arms.
Oh my God,
I agree with you, JoJo. And opinions, but
fighting, starting fires, and I mean it's just ridiculous and solves nothing.
We talked about this before, and you call them protests, you call them riots. Yes, there's a little bit of both going on in this country right now, and people are reacting the way they feel they need to react. Okay, the problem is for me is, I mean, these are pretty big protests going on. Not the people bringing out people out of the car and beating them is completely wrong, and obviously we don't condone it. But for the most part, they're nonviolent protests. Okay. My question is, and there are a lot of people out there, where were these people before November, before Election Day?
Yeah.
I mean, Donald Trump, there was no secretive vote. There was no people coming out of the woodworks. He got less votes than Romney and McCain. Okay, so there was no big what do you call it, Brexit or Brexit. There was no secretive Donald Trump vote. Okay, the problem is that people who typically voted Republican, or Democrat voted Republican, or that people didn't show up, and that was Hillary's problem.
Right.
People didn't show up. People weren't enthused. People, because of whatever reason.
Well, she was constantly stepping on herself.
So when all these people are holding their signs that said Donald Trump's not my president, where were you?
Right.
Before Election Day. Right. There's nothing you can do now.
Correct.
Right. You want to I saw a petition going around that says Donald Trump's not my president because Hillary won the popular vote. Look, the reason.
And if Hillary would be in office and Trump won the popular vote, Hillary supporters would be like, well, that doesn't matter.
But in all honesty, no matter who won the popular vote, the reason we have the Electoral College, because if we didn't, all you have to do is go look at a map of county by county, 4,000 counties in this country, and how many of those counties are red and how many are blue. And the blue ones come from, major cities, big cities where all the population is. They would control the White House. And that's why we have the Electoral College, because otherwise California, Miami-Dade, Broward, Texas would go red, but the cities would control the election. So that's why we have the Electoral College. So the popular vote doesn't matter. It matters within the state, but the reason we have it, and yes, it's possible, and it's happened twice to the Democrats in 4 elections, ironically, but the reason is that otherwise major cities in this country would control the outcome of the election.
Right.
And those little counties that only have, 2,000 votes or 1,500 votes total wouldn't matter. And so that's why, the Electoral College is what matters, and it should matter, because otherwise we're isolating, counties and states in this country that wouldn't.
But change is coming either way, because between 18 and 25-year-olds, you go look on like Twitter and see where they were voting.
Millennials are
they're smartening up.
Let's talk about millennials in the next break, and we have to go to commercial.
And can we get my latest Eddie Vedder story?
Yes,
please?
yes.
Does anyone care about that?
Yes, I do very much.
And before you leave, Joe, we're gonna get some juice.
Yes, I have all of the juice.
You have all of the juices.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
All right. We're gonna go to break. Miggs and Swig. Most exciting thing happening today. If you are out and about, there's a reptile show. I don't know if anyone's going to that. Or
reptile dysfunction.
Reptile show. And then here's how incredible our staff is. We have Jamie going to a reptile show. We have Ben going to an RV show. But to top it all off.
You're welcome.
Get your ribs.
Biggest redneck of them all.
Get your ribs at the Rib Fest with our gal.
Galza. Both of you gals.
The Galza.
Lisa and I will be out there judging Rib Fest starting at noon today. So come out and say hi.
What makes you guys professionals again? I know Ben had mentioned the fact that
I'm fat and I eat a lot. My dad is a wonderful chef, so I have expertise in critiquing food. And Lisa's just a big.
They're stars. You are kind of.
And we have boobs.
Boobs.
You've reached the pinnacle of stardom when you are judging a rib contest in Tampa, Florida, or St. Pete.
Well, at least the pinnacle of Tampa.
Yeah.
Oh, but if you want to join me, I'll be at the RV show.
Yeah, that's exciting.
I'm taking the family to the RV show at the Florida Fairgrounds. My how
what is that?
How times have changed.
How my life has changed.
Yes, but what do you go to an RV if you're not buying one? Are you going to buy?
I'm just going to see the new. Let's just say you're into Ferraris. Or you're into exotic cars. You would go to an exotic car show just to see the new.
Yeah,
so you're into RVs now.
I love my RV.
I just don't know why you would want to torture yourself and go to those things if you're not going to buy them. If you're not going to buy them, if you're not going to.
Well, that's a good point.
Well, knowing me,
I don't go shopping because I don't have any money.
Yeah, Joe, he's telling you right now.
I'm kind of an impulsive person.
So he's about to trade up.
Of course he is. I know he's going to upgrade.
I don't have any plans to. I seriously.
Of course you don't.
I just bought Cletus 6 months ago, 7 months ago.
Yeah, that's already old news.
But I have been known.
He's going to buy Cletus' sister.
I have been known to be. I have been known to be a little impulsive in my life.
That's like my brother-in-law. He's like, I don't know about boats. I'm just gonna or cars. Right. I'm not sure I'm gonna go, and at least I don't even have that pretense. I tell you, I'm going to a guitar store. I'm going to Chicago to a guitar store. Why are you going? To buy another guitar.
Yeah.
I have 120 of them, but I know what I'm doing.
But if you go, I think, I forget who told me, but there's a saying that if you hang around the barbershop long enough, eventually you will get a haircut.
Guys, if it's anything like my thing with guitars, it doesn't matter. I touch them, and if they're old, I start feeling this thing.
And it
speaks to him.
I immediately have to get guitar.
That guitar!
Why does he have to make everything like that instead of just?
Because you were.
That just weirded me out so much.
His whole thing is his whole setup to that was I touch him. I put him in my hand.
All right. Speaking of touching, so what is it? Melania
Trump.
Melania Trump.
First Lady elect.
And she's going to do this whole bullying thing. That's going to be her.
I guess.
Her pulpit.
I don't know what I don't know.
Cyberbullying.
Okay.
So speaking of cyberbullying, we were talking a little bit before about Facebook and the effects. I know that I've been trying to curb myself from commenting, but it's hard to do. So somebody I know, they had a post up that sort of rubbed. I wasn't really a fan of the post, which was okay, but then I read something somebody else wrote on it.
Correct.
And they were being disrespectful to people that I care about. And
I have to tell you, it was like I was at the movies. So I happened to go onto Facebook, and that post was the first one to come up in my news feed. And I start reading. I'm like, and I'm like, no. And then I see your sister-in-law Nikki had commented something, and I was like, oh, this is going to be good. So then one of the other girls in the office came in, Ty, and I was showing her, so I wished I would have had popcorn. It was so
like you're waiting for the next
entertaining,
comment.
and you're on the edge of your seat, and who's going to say what, and then Melissa, who's the DeBartolo Family Foundation director, she came in to my office, and the three of us laughing at the. I mean, it was hilarious in and of itself that people get so upset and and consumed and let every single thing that somebody says bother them.
Right, and that is, and I'm guilty of that too. What I want to
all are.
The first thing I want to say is to the person who actually wrote this. If that person is listening, I love you, and I meant no disrespect with having my opinion on there. What I don't love, and that's the thing also about. Even the left even more so than the right, I think. We sometimes get a little too, we're the intellectuals. We're so smart. And we've thought through this more than anybody. So we're college educated. We're this and that. Everyone has an opinion. And the thing about Facebook that's so funny to me is that people treat it as this precious thing. You're not actually having conversation. You're throwing things at each other. It's not really dialogue, because dialogue has two people actually speaking. And it's with people I don't know. I didn't like you in high school. Now we're friends on Facebook. The truth is, I still don't like you.
Right. And
you don't like me. So why? Stop following me and I'll stop
But
following you.
everybody's so tough behind a computer. or a phone or what. I want to know how many of these people would get in your face and say the things that they
with
say.
These guns? With these guns?
Never.
No, never. With these guns.
Well, they have real guns. But anyways, so the thing that bothers me the most about it, I mean, the thing that I like about it, okay, and we've talked about this before.
Wait, are you going to be bothered or like?
No, okay,
I got to know which one.
I'm going to stay positive first. I
this.
made a little plea to myself, or a little come to Jesus talk with myself this morning that I'm going to try to be positive around. The thing about social media, and I've said this before on the show, is it gives everybody a voice. Okay? You can have your voice, whether you're a shy person, you don't feel like talking like that at cocktail parties, whatever.
Right.
It gives people a voice. The bad news is it gives everybody a voice.
Yes.
Right? So, for instance, I was in that conversation. I was in other conversations. I posted some things. I tried to make light of it, like, like I said in the beginning of the show, breaking news, President Trump is now elected president. The other day I realized, and I was doing all that, and I was watching all of it, and I was getting involved in other people's conversations, against my conversations, and then I realized that it was Veterans Day. Mm-hmm. Okay? And what hit me was it's Veterans Day, and we're not paying enough attention to the veterans out there. And so I made a post. First of all, I went on to Wounded Warriors, and I made a donation to Wounded Warriors. And then I posted on my Facebook page that, thank you to all the veterans honoring this day and what you've done, protecting. And anyway.
Did you kneel or stand?
I pled to people to do what I did and make a donation to Wounded Warriors, because you want to talk about uniting the country. That's something that I think 99.9% of the people in this country can unite against a sacrifice that people in the military have done. Right. So I said, okay, let's try to unite this country, and this is a step forward. Let's each one. I sent a link with the 10, 15 most highest rated nonprofits that have to do with the military. I said, go make a donation. Go to the link on this and go make a donation. I got 7 likes and 1 share, okay? On my, joking, breaking news, president-elect, I got like 30 comments and 84 likes. Okay, people just breezed over it because it had to do something with something real. Now, JJ...
Okay, but I feel like because there's been things that I've posted that 4 people see it and like it, and then there's things that I'm like that are stupid posts, and the same thing. I feel like there's got to be some kind of
algorithm that puts it into the thread, and that's what JJ did tell me today, this morning, that because it had a link in it, that it didn't show up in people's feed. JJ?
Correct.
Thank you. A woman of very little words, but when she speaks.
Wait, so if you put a post with a link in
it's all algorithms and everything. Like, we've researched it with Miggs and with the Miggs music page, and I've seen it with Miggs and Swig page.
Yeah. Interactions, right?
Things grasp and show up in people's feed based on links versus a photo versus a video versus what you're talking about. It's all like...
So the reason the most is your feed... So what you're saying is the reason most of my feed right now is Donald Trump and whatever is because that's what's the hot topic or that's what's trending. But isn't it also about interaction? So if
Don has liked your
which I haven't.
If he's liked your previous stuff, then that's going to show. Then your more updated stuff is
going to
show up in his feed. Right. But you have 2,000 friends. You're not going to see all 2,000 friends posts. So you're
but 2,000 people don't post all the that's what I don't understand because I'll get stuff like I didn't see your post.
Right. Okay. So here's what
Jamie's ready to yell at all of us.
Luckily, I have the radio airwaves, so I know it's not Veterans Day today.
All right. Look at you.
If you could go to Wounded Warriors
and get out and vote.
Or another nonprofit and make a donation to the veterans. I mean, that's something that, left, right, middle, whatever, that we can unite against. And maybe that's just one step forward to uniting this country.
And that can make America great again. But what's going to make us great right now is the juice.
Talking about the juice
with JoJo.
Rolling down the screen, searching headlines, talking about the juice.
Here's JoJo.
What do you want to say?
I didn't know Roland worked with you on this. Roland's down the street.
Yeah.
Chasing headlines?
So yeah, talking about the juice.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. We've known each other for quite some time.
Wow, good.
He did. I need to thank him. He was just giving me a tutorial. I'm very honored and I'm very excited that on Monday morning I will be joining the Mike Calta show and filling in for Carmen while she is out collecting canned food, canned goods to donate for this Thanksgiving drive that will be held Friday.
And then you're fired after Monday. So be careful. You're joining the show makes it sound like you're now part of that.
I will be joining them on Monday.
But then you'll be fired Monday night.
Well, I'm not hired by the show. I'll be joining them for that. Yeah, I'll be
filling in.
Can you do me a favor?
For
Carmen
Can
on
you
Monday.
make it very clear?
I'm very excited.
From my great grandfather that it is Swig and not Swigs. So can that be your prime? I mean, I know that you're doing your thing, but it is not the Miggs and Swigs show. It is the Miggs and Swig show, which happens to be my real middle name. So in respect to my great grandfather,
because he posted on his flyer when I filled in on that show and was a guest.
By the way, I'm excited about all you're filling in. I'm excited for you because I sincerely think when JoJo and I first talked about doing this radio show thing a few years ago, I said to her, same sort of thing I said to Ben, but with you I meant it. No. I said I think that you were meant to do this sort of thing. You will be great at it. And I think that's coming true.
You slept your way to the top.
You're swept away right to the middle.
JJ! Coming in with that, if I had been, I'd be a whole lot nicer to people if I was getting laid.
All right. Go on now.
Thank you for that.
Yeah,
I do enjoy it, and I have fun, and it's a good group of people, and it just keeps me off the streets.
There you go.
So
hooking.
Yeah.
Hooking.
Just
what time do you have to be there on Monday? Like 6 a.m.
Yeah, I mean, I'm up early anyway. They're going to be annoyed with
me.
She
couldn't get here at 10 a.m. for 9:30.
I'm a morning person. I know. That's because I screw around and I'm cleaning.
Yeah,
and
I bet you screw around.
I'm doing
That's
laundry.
Oh
my God, you didn't hear that. You say that, but you haven't heard it.
Are you going to do any juice? And now, and that's the juice.
No. Robert Redford announced that he'll be retiring from acting after completing production on his final 2 films. He spoke.
Has he been alive in his last 2 films?
Hey, that one where you didn't say where just the sailing movie, that was phenomenal. And it was just
honestly,
him, right? What was it called? Do you know?
I can't remember off the top of my head, but yeah, he was
sailing.
No, it wasn't, but it was just him on a boat, and there was very little dialogue, so it was all just his presence on screen. It was phenomenal.
It's like Tom Hanks.
Guys,
I mean, that's got to be the hardest thing in the world.
You know why?
Because he's dead.
He forgets the words, so they just say, "Listen, just act."
How old is Robert Redford? He's got to be in his 80s.
Late
80.
80s.
Just 80.
18?
He's just 80. He looks like he's 180. He looks
so good.
Old. What?
For an 80-year-old man.
I love seeing two. There you go. There's a difference.
Do you want to fight over Robert Redford?
I like old men, older men.
Well,
Donald Trump's old.
Yeah, you could have DT. You can get the DTs.
I don't know. Okay. But I enjoy Robert Redford's films, and that'll be sad.
Did you see the last one?
No. Pete's Dragon was his last film, but that's not the one we were talking about.
Pete's Dragon was Redford's last film?
The one that was the last one. His next 2 are The Discovery and Our Souls at Night.
I love my wife's Peach Dragon. It's phenomenal.
What?
My wife's
Oh
got the. My wife has
God.
got the best peach
Tonight,
dragon ever.
not only will I be out at LBC for the Mike Calta Punch Out, which I'm very excited about. There is another fight that will be happening tonight.
Wait.
205.
Where are you going
Yeah.
tonight?
LBC, local brewing company.
She's a
It's
woman
in
about
Palm
town,
Harbor.
dude.
Yeah.
Miggs and Swig to thank for all this.
Hey,
You
can
better
we-
be bringing
can we
listeners.
get away from JoJo for a second?
No,
and
it's
talk
her
about
segment.
I'm trying.
UFC
Her
205.
segment.
That's where I was going with this. Nobody lets me finish a thought or a sentence.
I
so
mean,
if
other than
here,
other
you're
than
the
you,
one that's leaving that you didn't even want to tell me about. So that's fine. Here, you can have all of the juice.
Oh, she's mad.
What do you mean
hold
she's
on, hold on,
leaving? He's
hold on.
leaving.
UFC 205 tonight. It is the biggest fight card
I know.
since probably UFC 200, if not better.
Are you a
in
fan?
New York City? The first UFC fight ever in New York City.
Right? It's, yeah.
It's
That's what I
Madison
heard.
Square Garden, and
No, I mean I'm indifferent toward it, but I
was just shocked. Like I didn't.
Yeah, I mean I enjoy it, but I'm not like betting on it or anything like that.
But you like UFC.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I think if you're going to be stupid enough to want to get your face bashed in, then why
But-
should I not
All right.
enjoy some entertainment out of it?
Go, Joe. I want to hear. Just want to hear you speak.
I'm good.
Just turn all our mics off.
Yes.
I think it's going to be phenomenal. And I wonder if Donald Trump is going to be there tonight because actually, oh my God, I'm having a brain meltdown. Dana White spoke at the Republican National Convention, and his success of the UFC he attributed to Donald Trump because when nobody else thought that UFC was going to be big, Donald Trump held the first UFC when Dana White bought it in Atlantic City and gave Dana White the start in the UFC. So,
All right. Joe, come on, give us more. Then we're gonna do more after the break.
Rob Kardashian and Black China had their baby this week.
I'm really boy, girl, name.
How much did it weigh? 16 pounds?
Oh my God!
What's the name?
Dream Renee.
What do people do to kids?
I
man?
don't.
Look, naming your kid is not about naming your doll. It's not a doll. It is a human being who is going to have to hold that
through life.
name for the rest of its life.
That to me,
North, South, or whatever his name is.
You're
I mean-
setting her up to be on a poll. Now coming to the stage, Dream.
Yeah, but the thing is,
Doesn't even have to change it.
well, yeah, that's just it. All the strippers, they don't use their real names, so pretty soon you're gonna have stripper names like Rebecca and Sarah.
Right.
Yeah, all normal girl names.
We have to go to
My
commercial.
stripper name is Sarah.
Oh, we do.
We'll roll the juice over the next
I want
segment.
more juice.
Yeah, I want
Oh
more
no, it's okay. I'm gonna have to go and
What do you think
eat
about
all of the
Dream?
ribs.
You
No,
don't like Dream?
I don't want to make. I don't want to have an opinion on people's names of their kids because mine kids are Jasper and Milo, and I remember when we told my parents and my in-laws that Jasper is going to be the name, and they're like, Jasper, what kind of name is Jasper? I sound like my father-in-law.
Yeah.
And my mom was like, Jasper? What kind of name is Jasper? Jasper? What does that mean? So like, you get to name your kid whatever you want. Just know that, like you just said, your kid actually has to hold the name. Remember, there's a reason why there was that song, A Boy Named Sue. Didn't do so good for him. Miggs and Swig, we're going to come back after these messages with more juice. And I have an Eddie Vedder story, which is kind of juice.
Yes.
Miggs and Swig.
All right, everybody.
Pay attention.
It starts here.
Now that we're all prepared, let's start the show.
The conversation is about to get louder. You're listening to Miggs and Swig. Don Miggs, Ben Swig, Lisa, and JoJo. From music to marriage, from politics to parenting, from dating to deep thoughts and sports. Get ready for Miggs and Swig. Life out loud.
Let's get the show on the road.
Well, JoJo, a lot has happened thus far on the show. Welcome to Miggs and Swig, and your Saturday getting off to just quite a start.
I wish I was.
We're missing Lisa. She's homesick, but not sick enough to miss the Rib Fest with you at around noon. So you're going to be pulling out of here.
Yeah. Probably after this segment, I'm going to head over to Vinoy Park. So if you're out there, find us. Come and say hi. We'll be judging ribs and sauces. I'm so excited.
Ribs and Swigs?
Ribs and Swigs.
Swig.
Well, Swigs meaning drinks is what I was going for, a different serving.
Hopefully.
All right.
Yeah, so come and say hi.
Well, have fun.
Or if people are out that are listening now and they're out tonight, come over to Palm Harbor at LBC. We'll be out there for the Celta Punch Out.
JoJo.
What happened?
What is a good rib in your mind? Like when you taste a rib, what are you looking for?
I would like something that falls off the bone. I like a sauce with a kick to it, but it doesn't. I mean, I like sweeter sauces too. But
Hopefully, people doing the ribs aren't listening and getting
inside information. That's why I did it.
Oh gosh.
Go on.
Hopefully they've already been marinating and making.
Can
their
your
ribs.
vote be bought?
Oh yes.
Like if there was a very cute rib maker. And
Rib maker.
could you be biased or could you be non-biased and ignore the fact that he is adorable, cute, just handsomely good looking?
Yes.
A lot like me.
But his rib sucked.
Worst ribs.
What
ever.
would you do?
I would tell him his ribs sucked.
And then
So do I.
JoJo on the radio. Why do you think she's on the Mike Halta show Monday?
Oh my God. Rude.
What are the rules? Like, do you have your paperwork?
I know nothing about it yet. I'll get there a little bit early to find out. I don't really know when it starts. I'm assuming maybe 12:30. But I'm very excited.
You got any more juice for us?
No, let's just move on.
No, you don't. What? We did that
Well,
whole
I do.
setup.
I do have something, and I found it pretty interesting. So, JoJo, if you don't mind me, just sort of trumping your juice here. That the Mabel Ball, who was born in 1908, the year the Cubs
2 years before me,
won their first World Series. Actually died today. So about a week or so, 2 weeks after the Cubs won their second World Series. So she's the only one alive that
lived. Yeah,
lived during both of them.
Wait, what about the man?
That is the man. He said guy.
Mabel?
He meant gal.
I meant guy. I said guy in the commercial, but it is a
Did
girl.
you happen to see Mabel when you were at the World Series?
No, but I do have World Series stories.
I would love to hear it.
Because you've been dying to tell. That's why I transitioned and I teed it up for you.
Wait. Everyone, just give me a second.
Hopefully he won't die while he reports.
All right, well, let me start with this. First of all,
and get the name drop.
Congratulations to Joe Madden.
Yes.
Unbelievable. Couldn't have happened to a better guy. I think the world of him. I think he's a wonderful man.
You think the World Series of him?
I think the World Series of him. Lisa and I he was kind enough to offer us tickets for the final game in Cleveland, and we just couldn't make it work because we had already gone. Like it's a whole to do. There is no doubt about it. Like you don't just show up, right?
Right.
And we have kids, and we want to get home and all that. But we went to a playoff game in Chicago, which was amazing. Then we went to one of the World Series games. We got to take Asher, Ben's son. So
did that really chap your ass that you didn't go, Ben?
No. I mean, I was really happy for my son. We talked about it on the show the next day, or last week, or whenever it was. I was so happy for him, and I really wanted him to understand the importance of being a sports fan. But not.
I mean, you went to the Giants World Series with them.
I went to the Giants World Series, but that
sure
was not of the magnitude of that moment in the first, World Series game at Wrigley Field in 70-something years, and what an atmosphere. And I sent him a text before, and I said, I hope you understand and are so appreciative of the opportunity you get to go to an event like this.
Well, he was. First of all, that kid knows how to act. Your 100%. Son, you guys have done a good job. The thing, that kid has the silver spoon is stuck so far up in him. Like the gene pool, he has everything he could ever want, and he does. I have seen it come out in him where I'm like, oh, don't act like that, for sure. But overall, for a 13-year-old kid navigating the waters of being who he is, he treats it with a lot of respect. He's respectful and kind and considerate of people, and did a wonderful job. And he was aware of the moment, which I would have been at 13 because of what a sports fan I was. So we get ready to go to this thing, and Joe Madden was kind enough to do the tickets. We had a friend, Michael Stewart, helped with the hotel rooms, and the hotel rooms were the same rooms that Joe used to stay at, and that like Eddie Vedder stay at, whatever. When the games are going, you stay there, and way cheaper by like. The Peninsula was $8,000 for a night. Yeah. This hotel was $600. Like
Holiday Inn, say what?
Night and
hotel,
day,
motel,
and a beautiful hotel. So I'm sorry. I'll try not to make this way
Longer than you have?
No, stop. Can you just?
I know.
I wish Mo were here. I wish Mo were here because he would help me.
We have the inauguration.
You
Okay.
just take a long time. I'm
month.
telling you, I love your stories. I think you're a great storyteller. It just takes you a minute to get to the point.
Well, because no one.
Continue.
That's
Okay,
because
so
everyone interrupts.
you want to bring Eddie Vedder into
No.
this? I know you
No,
do.
no,
So
no,
go
no,
ahead.
no, 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 no.
What happened with Eddie Vedder?
Jamie, help me. Thank you. All right, so we're getting ready to go, and I said, Asher, I'm kind of a big deal right now. Joe Madden is texting me. It's game day. He's texting me, glad you're here, blah, blah, blah. I said, I'm kind of a big deal. Right? As that's happening, I'm literally having conversations with Mick Fleetwood, the drummer of Fleetwood Mac.
Yes.
Because Mick is staying at our house in L.A. So
Yes.
I'm like, there's that Stephen Bauer from Ray Donovan. I'm speaking with the two of them, and Tom Higginson from Plain White Tees is in Chicago. So I'm bragging to Asher. It's a joke, but I'm like going, your uncle is a big deal. I'm speaking to these people.
Was it joking though?
He doesn't. Well, why it was a joke is he doesn't know who Mick Fleetwood is. Stephen Bauer, Tom Higginson. None of them matter to him except Joe Madden.
Right.
So then I had met Rahm Emanuel, the mayor in Chicago, when the whole Obama thing was happening. So he and I have had some exchanges. We have something that we're working on. So I sent him a note and said, hey, we're going to be in town. Maybe after the game we'll have a drink. He immediately texts me back, let me know. So now I'm on the plane. I'm bragging to my nephew whose eyes are like he doesn't get any of this. And my brother-in-law, Chad, is making fun of. He and Lisa start making fun of me because I'm saying I'm a big deal. While that's happening, I text Smitty, who is the assistant to Eddie Vedder, because
also in Hook, yes.
Because as Mo taught me, Eddie Vedder and I aren't really friends.
Yes.
Because if Eddie and I are really friends, I'd have Eddie's phone number, and I don't. And I've met Eddie. Eddie and I have spent time together.
Oh, he's giving you shout-outs on the stage.
Sure, Shay, I could play that for you right now.
Yeah.
So all this stuff, but if we were friends, I guess I would have his thing. So Mo made me feel bad, but he was right. I had to take it like a man, and he was right. So we land, we're going, we're on our way there. And now I'm also talking to Josh Murdy, who is playing guitar that night with Marion Morris, who just won Best New Country Artist, and they're on tour with Keith Urban. So I'm, again, saying what a big deal
I'm
I am.
texting you as well.
Yeah, and JJ was. So the only one who doesn't think the only one who thinks I'm a big deal is me at this point. And my wife and brother-in-law are over me, and Asher could care less. Game's on, game's over, we're leaving. Get in the car, and Chad and Lisa start giving it to me. Legend in his own mind, doing all this stuff, like really giving me a bunch of grief. And I'm having to take it because I was dumb enough to do it. So we pull up to the hotel. I get out of the car. Who's getting out of the car behind me? Eddie Vedder. So Eddie's getting out of the car behind me, and he has his security guard with him, and he's talking to somebody, and all the hotel staff are around the entrance.
For
and
you.
Yeah. So I start walking to go over towards Eddie, and the hotel staff's like, not tonight, sir. Not tonight, sir. Please move along. And I said, I'm staying here. They're like, oh, that's right. Someone else comes over and goes, oh, he's staying here. He can go. And I said, no, I'm going over to Eddie. They go, not tonight, please. Not tonight. Don't do this. He doesn't want anyone. So now his guard is like guarding him, and he's walking. I go, Ed. He says nothing. I go, Don Miggs. He stops in the middle of the thing, turns around, comes over and hugs me. Don, oh my God, so good to see you. Now the security are all holding back who? Chad and Asher. Not today, sir. Not today. Won't let them in. And then I point to Lisa. I go, Lisa's here. So he goes, oh, so now Lisa's allowed to come over because the guy who's not a big deal just got her to come over. And Chad and Asher are not allowed to come near. So now we're talking. I go, and we're in the doorway, and they're not letting anyone else in. I go, all right, had enough of your time, Eddie. See you. Take care. He stops and turns as Chad is right next to me with the guard still holding me. And Chad's pissed because he's like, I just want to go in. And Eddie turns and says, Don, I think about you all of the time.
No, he did not.
Swear to God, everyone heard it. I turn and look at Chad. It was an unbelievable moment because he said it. So we get inside, we talk, but he gives me some picks for the kids and whatever. He goes
not
up,
like
guitar picks.
Oh, okay.
He goes up to his
Not like
up to
private
his
part
room.
picks.
I go up to the room and I getting ready to go get into bed. I'm done. Lisa and I, it's been a long night. And just as my head's about to hit the pillow, I turn to her and I go, I guess I'm sort of a big deal. She just bursts out laughing because come on. At the end, he said, I think about you all the time. Next morning, get off the elevator to get ready to leave. Who's standing there? Eddie Vedder again. Lisa goes, don't say anything to him. I didn't have to. Don, you going back to Florida? Comes over. I wish you were going to stay for the game tonight. Have a whole other conversation.
Did he give you his cell phone number?
No, I still don't have his number. But I did say to his assistant, Smitty, can you give Eddie my number? Because we were talking about it. She goes, yeah, I'll give it to him.
It got lost.
I keep checking my phone. I think it's still on. It's on, but Eddie hasn't texted
me. I just think the signal in here is what the problem is. When you get outside, I'm sure it'll be blowing up with
Someone
messages.
tell me that's still a great
story. That's pretty rad. That is pretty rad.
All right, thank you.
I think it's fantastic.
I wouldn't be mad about it.
All right.
I think it's wonderful. In fact, I was watching the Game 7 on TV, and they're showing, of course, shots of all the celebrities. They're like Drew Carey and LeBron James. They show Eddie Vedder. He's wearing a T-shirt that says, I know Don Miggs. It was
the craziest thing.
I saw that.
And it said it couldn't get Eddie Vedder than this. It couldn't get any better than this. Okay, listen, I think we need to go to break.
I know,
right?
and I'm just going to tell people that I'm scooting out. I'm heading to the Vinoy Park for Rib Fest. Please come out and say hi. Or if you're at LBC tonight for the Couch Punch Out, please come and say hi. I'll be on the Mike Couch show on Monday morning.
Big deal.
Filling
She's
in
a
for
big
Carmen.
deal.
I'm very
Now
excited.
that's a big deal.
She is a big deal.
I hope to do her justice.
And she
Jojo,
has Eddie Vedder's number.
You've done us justice.
No,
You're
I love
doing
you
a great
guys.
job.
You're
You're doing
my
a great
peoples.
job. All right, listen. When we come back, we're going to talk about racism. No, we're going to talk about a bunch of things.
Probably me. Probably mostly me while I'm gone. I'll be listening.
All right. Hey, everybody. Miggs and Swig. We'll be back. You know, Ben, I was just thinking about my friend Eddie Vedder and I.
I was too.
What it got me thinking about was something that Roland actually just said. We're just talking about relevance and how the thing that makes someone like Eddie larger than life is that he's been relevant for so many years. And I'm thinking about artists that have sort of maintained that level.
Very few and far between.
Very few.
Yeah, well, and I think that today, and as you know in the music business, that is going to be less and less.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to see who's going to fill arenas in 20 years. I don't know.
Right, we had that conversation before, but Eddie Vedder has been relevant and he continues to be relevant. And I joke around, but I'm pretty jealous.
Well, the coolest thing about someone like that,
my joking comes from jealousy,
is that how much he loves music.
Mm-hmm.
He's not just it's not about celebrity. He's not like showing up places to be cool. Like, you see that guy everywhere because he wants to get on stage with his idols. He knows that Roger Waters is not going to be around forever.
Right. Speaking of artists who have been relevant for a long time, we lost a very significant, important artist yesterday. Again this year, Leonard Cohen.
Yeah.
Passed away yesterday, and it's been a terrible year. We lost Prince, we lost David Bowie, we lost Leonard Cohen yesterday, and Tuesday we lost America.
Yeah.
So I'm just kidding.
No, but you're right when you think about that. What's happening now is that you're going to see more and more of that. Obviously.
Well, for you and I. Right, older in our 40s, people like David Bowie. Obviously, Prince I think died obviously a little too early. But Leonard Cohen I think it was 82 years, or 83, whatever. But that's the sort of age that we're in. Eddie Vedder's got to be in his.
He's in his 50s.
Yeah.
But you look at I'm reading Springsteen's book, Born to Run, and it's a great book. It's inspiring to me. I just read someone said that it actually isn't well written, but you can tell it's in his voice. I love it. And what it does is it reminds me also that the ones who really stick around, like, I'm not famous. I've made music my whole life.
Except for in your own head.
In my own head. I've done fairly well. There are some cities I do better in, and there are people who obviously really like what I do. But the thing that I think connects myself to someone like Springsteen or Eddie, only thing is the passion, is that I love music.
Right.
It's like you with sports.
Yeah, and but I think you can say that whether you like Katy Perry or whether I think that no matter what music artists put out, I would, at least, maybe I'm being naive, but I would hope and I think and I truly believe this, that there is that passion for music. They're doing what they love to do.
No, some of them are just, I can tell you this, and from your industry, I'm going to actually pull something up. You get to a point where you're not actually, you're making music because it's what you do. But I constantly have conversations with people that are you going to do what you want to do or what you're told to do? Because if your music isn't doing it, there's also a part of me that says do whatever music is doing it. If you have to have a job and you're a good guitar player, you might as well have a job doing music than working somewhere you don't want to work. But Bruce just said this, and I sent this to someone I'm writing with. I learned that unless we are very aggressive, very proactive about what we want, what you've created can be co-opted and taken from you, whatever the results. It's nothing personal. You will simply be stripped bare, for better or worse, at the altar of the great marketing gods who have a dynamic and an agenda guided by the DNA of commerce. So his point is...
Yeah, I'm going to need an explanation.
His point is Springsteen was told to be one thing. Everyone wanted him to be the new Dylan. And then he made Born to Run and decided, I'm not going to be Dylan. I've got to be Bruce Springsteen. Got to do my own thing. But marketing people, the people who sign the checks, they want you to follow their path. And your job is to follow your path. But there's got to be sometimes they've got to mix into each other, right? Katy Perry is a good example. She's not doing the music that she might like it, but that's not who she is. Baby, You're a Firework is not what she
right.
burns
Or did
to
she
be.
probably not write it? But maybe it's a different. Like I said, maybe it's a different. Maybe it's not the music. Maybe it's the performance. So there's something that she. So that's what I mean. It's a passion for what you do, and now maybe it's the writing of the music that some people love, or it's the performance.
But
or
the
it's the
letdown,
stage.
Ben, where I think that these guys, people like Katy Perry and Beyonce even, I think where you remember how they've all rallied so much around, even Hillary, it didn't make a difference. Springsteen rallied around Hillary, and why he didn't make a difference is because, sadly, he's become sort of irrelevant. The problem is we don't have an artist of Springsteen's magnitude that's young enough to get these people to care, because they don't really, they're making, Beyonce's more concerned with their costume changes. And I'm not saying that she doesn't write great music.
Axl Rhodes does too. But if you've ever seen a Guns N' Roses concert, Axl changes more than Beyonce does.
Right.
But it's funny you bring up Bruce Springsteen, and I'll go with Trump on this one. And the bias of the media was, he performed in Philadelphia for a show, and then they showed a Trump rally, and they were playing Born in the USA.
Right.
And the Trump supporters were booing him. And then they went to CNN. I was watching CNN, and they're like, "How do you boo Born in the USA?" But Born in the USA is not a patriotic song.
No,
it's not. It's anti-Vietnam
it's
song.
It's no different than this the Star Spangled Banner. The whole thing about what that really represents, and it doesn't. I don't know. We can.
Steve wants to know if you're on mushrooms. Steve, what's going on?
Oh, Steve.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
It's good. I mean, the mushrooms are starting to wear off. Good.
Yeah. You
Great.
there, Steve?
Love Steve.
Thanks,
Perfect.
Steve.
So I had just written this thing during the break.
You wrote a song that quickly?
No,
That's
this is
impressive.
about the whole "Make America Great" thing that's still bothering me. And the whole thing about sort of I just on my feed in Facebook read something about Colin again, about bet you think Trump will make him stand or do whatever. And can I just read this? You all right with that?
Good, it's your show, dude. You want?
Don't mind me. This is really for you. All right, so I'll read it actually the way I wrote it. Man, I'm tired of all these people railing against Colin. Not because they don't have a right to. They do, but I would ask the people most upset a few questions. What are you doing to make this a better America? Why are you so offended? Have you served in the armed forces? Have you been to a war zone and felt the burden of protecting freedom? Or did you not know what you wanted to be when you grew up and the Army said they'd pay for your schooling while you figured it out? I'm not judging you, I'm asking. And what do you do to celebrate and honor the freedoms that you're so pissed off at Colin for protesting against? He knelt. There was no violence. He knelt. Are you mad because you selflessly donate your time and effort to charity? Have you joined organizations to actually help these veterans who find themselves forgotten after war and trauma? Are you giving them your time and attention, or are you just bitching because it feels good to be able to openly hate someone who doesn't agree with you? Did you vote? Do you try compassion for someone and attempt to understand why they're doing what they're doing? Does the flag mean more to you than your own morals? Because the flag isn't real. It's fabric. No one can disrespect something you hold in your heart. Freedom ain't the flag, folks. It's the message it sends you. Just like God is for some and like bourbon is for Mo. I had to get Mo in there because I know he's listening. And if you're white, by the way, I can't say this enough. Shut the hell up about what a black man should be feeling. You don't know. You can't know, so you're embarrassing yourself, and you're probably making Mo even more mad. You have it infinitely easier than a black person almost 99% of the time. So, but you better be nice, because the people of color are going to make up the majority soon, and you racist slobs will be cowering and begging for forgiveness. Mark my words. That was what I did during my commercial break.
Wow.
That's pretty strong.
Wow,
that's kind of strong.
That's good.
Let me just. You brought up Colin Kaepernick, and we've had discussions on it on his right or how he protests or whatever. And look, again, it's like it's an argument if you're for Trump or against. You're not going to change anybody's mind. But what really disappoints me is that he didn't vote.
He didn't vote.
He came out and said that he didn't vote. And to me, it's like if you want to protest and you want to do all that. I don't care how you protest. It's everybody's right to protest however you feel fit.
But show up.
See, I disagree with that, because that's still a selection. If not going to vote, it's a protest saying, I don't like any of you people, so I'm washing my hands of this.
So you're saying that
it's an anti-vote.
Maybe it's an anti-vote, but there are, and this is, I think, where everybody gets confused or misled, is that there are so many other not more important, but there are other equally important, I'll say.
State attorney.
Attorneys, the local amendments. Yes.
Amendments.
Absolutely.
That actually changed. And they said no to the solar power, thank God. We passed marijuana.
Mm-hmm.
So there are other things that make more of a significance on somebody's life.
On the local level,
State attorneys,
right.
State government.
So just don't tick the box for president if it doesn't
You don't
matter.
have to fill in a vote. Just it's not if you skip something. I skip stuff.
So what do you think of that, Jamie? Do you agree with that then?
I agree, because I skip things all the time, like my daughter's birthday. I just not there at all.
But do you agree with his statement? Because you first just said that's still not voting. But is he right then?
He's right, because on my ballot, I checked 6 boxes off total. I did the president, I did senator, I did, I think, local, and the amendments. I skipped so much stuff because I didn't know or I didn't care. Yeah. But I still went and voted for the things that did matter to me.
See, I went and looked up every single
Did you do
thing.
the judges?
Yeah.
See,
No.
I
went and looked every one up.
I usually skip the judges because, unfortunately, I don't take enough time, which I should
And
do.
I asked Justin Day. I asked his opinion as well, and I know that's I'm trusting someone else's opinion, but he understands what it is that's important to me. And I said, can you tell me? And I looked up everyone. Lisa and I looked up every one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also asked Justin, like, what do you think of this one and that one? He had a couple that, some of them he had. Some people just vote their party line. And to me, that's just as scary. And I get it, where it's like, okay, well, I'm a Republican, so I'm just going to vote Republican. I don't know what the right thing is,
right.
but it all.
The ironic thing is, right, so through the whole primary, there was this drain the swamp. There was this whole, Republicans disavowed Trump and wouldn't support him, and then actually said they weren't voting for him. But they all won their elections.
Right.
So they all have
Ben.
their job right now, and they need to have Donald Trump to thank for that, regardless of whether they supported him or not.
You know what? Hey, Tim, you want to comment on Colin and the effect it's had on the 40 no-winners?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I understand what you're saying about, Colin Kaepernick, and that's cool that it's a peaceful protest. But the problem is as a teammate, he completely brought so much negative attention to that team, and it just completely tore and ripped them apart. It's a huge distraction.
You're right,
And
Tim.
when you're
But you know what, Tim? Let me just tell you, if they had stronger leadership, they would have turned that negative into a positive. What I said that Jed should have done, if Jed wanted to show that team could be unified, I would have gone over during the national anthem, and I would have stood next to Colin while he knelt. I would have put my left arm on his shoulder, my hand on my heart, and did the entire thing. And then at the very end, I would have knelt down and went face to face with him to show him that this is America. He has the right to do what he wants, and his team's behind him.
Yeah, and
but he didn't do any of that.
Look, I don't think the 49ers suck because Colin Kaepernick took a knee. Because what's the excuse for last year and the year before? It doesn't. I disagree because I think actually it united some of the team because after he did it, 3 other teammates are kneeling
Went
with
down,
him now.
right.
So, to put it, the performance of the 49ers on Colin Kaepernick's feet is a bit of a stretch because they sucked last year. They sucked the year before, and you know. Anyway. So Jim wants to comment on the effects of Trump and what it'll have on the country, from Colin to Trump.
Well, yeah, that. But I also want to just respond to what he just said about Kaepernick. He said that the team unified behind him with 3 other players. How many players are on the team?
Yeah.
52?
Yeah.
There's 52. So 3 other ones did. So that means that what? So that's 48 did.
Yeah, that's good math. But what I'm saying,
a lot of unification there. I see 48 other guys saying this guy's a dude.
right? But Jim, but what I was saying to that was it did not. I don't think affected their win-loss performance, because they sucked last year. They sucked this year before. So it had nothing to do with the performance of the team. What I was going to say. Did you have something else? Is he gone? Oh, well, I think he wanted to comment on Trump. So call back. We'll
yeah,
have you
we'd
back
love
on.
to have your comment on Trump. I don't know. That's, when you talk about a team thing, that you can unify a team by saying, look, the Yankees in the 70s would be unified when Reggie Jackson would have a fight with Billy Martin. And it would, while it would cause division, the team also figured out how to win. But that's about good ownership. That's about having everything's sort of right, and the Niners have way more trouble than all of that. And this isn't a sports show, but we could go on and on about the Niners and why they probably will not win again for a while, just like my New York Jets. No one cares about my Jets, do you, Ben? No. All right. Hey,
okay.
This is the Miggs and Swig Show. We're going to go to break. We'll be back after these words with more Miggs and Swig.
Bright Antenna's greatest hits playing today. Thank you, Jamie.
You gotta like that. It helps to be the swig.
Wombats.
There you go, Wombats. Hey, Ben, we've been talking about my whole Eddie Vedder thing, but it just made me think about who is your favorite person that you've ever gotten the chance to meet?
Aside from yourself.
Yeah. Don Miggs.
All
That's
right.
fine.
See,
That's what I was going to say.
And Rowan, Jamie, and JJ, I'd love to know your opinion.
But,
on who is for
I mean, obviously I was lucky enough to go to the Obama event at your house, and I've been lucky in the right place or whatever to be able to meet George Bush, Bill Clinton, and President Obama. So I think when you get to meet the president is pretty, even though it's just a handshake and a picture.
So then forgetting that person who maybe that is actually in your phone, someone that's become a friend.
I think one of the nicest guys I know.
Can I tell you who I think you're going to say?
Who?
Tell me.
Go ahead.
Michael Strahan.
Yeah. Yeah. So probably the one of the nice for somebody, I think what makes it so interesting, and Eddie Vedder seems this way, is when you get somebody whose persona you see is exactly who that person is in real life.
Yeah.
I mean, I've met people who, are famous and they portray one person, but then when you meet them, they're completely different. Mike is not that way.
So Mike, that's like authentic.
Authentic.
You know that person has that value.
The most real, funny, down-to-earth person that I've ever met. Now, I met him. I mean, he was at the Pro Bowl, so he was, famous in the sports world and is very good at what he does. And then since then, he's become. There's like 8 of them. He's on everything.
Right.
But he is probably the most genuine, real person. When I had asked him to do a favor for Mr. D and just read, one Hall of Famer to the Hall of Fame electorate or whatever they're called, to write a letter, and he did it in a day, and it was one of the nicest, most genuine letters. So I would have to say Michael.
That's cool. That's a cool one for sure.
Guy.
Rowan, how about you?
The only, I guess, famous person I've really met is John Schneider. I was able to play golf with him, had lunch with him. Great guy.
You guys dating or?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I texted him once. He texted me back, so I have.
Wow,
I was
it's
like,
a
wow.
love affair.
Yeah.
So as Mo would say, you're friends.
I think so. Bo Duke from Dukes of Hazzards, also from Smallville. He was the dad, and there's a show called The Haves and the Have-Nots that he's in that he would like to be recognized for.
Well, obviously you want to be recognized for it. There you go.
I'd like to, maybe do a song for one of his movies.
Ah. Yeah, well, you
I'll
probably
throw
could
granny
now.
candy.
Now, and it's funny because I just was trying to think of somebody I've met who's the complete opposite of what you get in real life.
Right.
And that's Chris Rock. I was working as an internship for Bill Graham Presents, as you know, in San Francisco. It's one of the biggest concert promoters in the Bay Area, San Francisco Bay Area. And they have a comedy division. I was doing an internship for the comedy division. And part of my job was to pick up the comics and sort of drive them around and hang out with them until their show. So I was sent to go pick up Chris Rock. And I was asking him questions, and he was just completely quiet. And the next day I go into work, and I'd taken him to a D'Angelo show when I picked him up, and he was there. And he didn't say a word. And every answer was like one, or every question was like 1-word answers, 2-word answers. And I went into work the next day, and I was like, I asked my boss, I said, look, I don't know what you're going to hear from Chris, but I hope I didn't do anything wrong. I hope I didn't, make him mad or I had offended him. But he didn't say a word to me. He goes, don't worry. It's just the way he is. Now, he wasn't like an asshole. Dump. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I don't think
Sorry. He wasn't a jerk, but he was just very, very quiet.
Right.
And I think that, the more, when you hear comics have a tendency to be very depressed and
Well, comedy has to come from somewhere.
But I think the problem with Belushi and with Farley and all these people, I think people have an expectation of them to be like that. They're always
right.
Yeah,
right.
like Robin Williams, the guy killed himself because he was chronically depressed.
Or they become drug
and they expected him to be that. It was always dance.
Well, yeah, and so Chris Rock knows how to turn it off, right? And which is funny, you bring up Robin Williams because he lived next to my brother in Marin, and we were out in the street, and he came out, and he was doing that.
Yeah.
He was, not my wife.
Because he knows that's what you expect.
But he was dancing. It was like my wife and I were just sitting there like, oh my God, we just got a 15-minute Robin Williams private show, but Chris Rock turned it off. So I'm not. It wasn't,
which is why he won't kill himself.
Yeah,
hopefully you're right.
So, you say it as a joke, but it's serious.
It's true.
It's serious.
Yes,
because comics, you talk to comics, and they do, expect people. People expect them to be on all the time.
Well, that's no different than anything. You meet my father-in-law, and people have an expectation, but I'm disappointed all of the time on tour. Every time I go out with somebody, not every time, but mostly I'm like, wow, that didn't go as I thought. That guy was not who I thought he would be. And I have a laundry list of them where I'm like, wasn't a good guy. Everyone loves this person. Well, we didn't love him. It happens again and again. Jamie, how about you?
For me, I'm going to take two of them, and they're going to be local guys for personal reasons. It's going to be Jack Harris and Ted Webb from 970 WFLA because I first got started in that building over there out of radio. I've met both of them independently within a year of me getting into this business. I had zero reason to have any respect from anybody. I was just out of college. I didn't know squat about radio. I didn't know anything. And they both treated me like an equal. And these guys have been doing radio for 20, 30 years at that point. And I ended up working with them for 8 or 9 years I was over there. And they treated me from day one the same way after we got to know each other. For the time I left, it was amazing. And I will keep that forever. And
of course.
That's how you need to treat other people who are trying to get into something
and
that you love.
It teaches you. I think that, if you're brought up that way or you're introduced that way, I hope that people turn on, you don't change. You went from, although you had your band and you were touring and you had some success, but then you married Lisa, and then there becomes a different
level, right?
And one of the greatest pieces of advice my grandfather ever gave me was be nice to the people on the way up, because it's the same darn people you're going to meet on your way back down.
Well, I'll tell you what, every day it just gets underlined for me with that whole thing. Now, JJ worked for me for a long time as my tour manager, so you've been on a bunch of tours where we've played with a bunch of different people. So you've met some great people that are in your phone, and you've met some people that maybe didn't work out so well. So how about you?
Mine would be, despite that, would be Russell Crowe and Ron Howard.
Wow.
I was a seat filler through college.
Got him in your phone?
I don't.
Wait, seat filler, you can explain to people what that is?
At award shows, this was for the SAG Awards, I would go and you have to fill seats to make sure that it always looks full.
And JJ was a little bigger, so she could fill a seat. She could fill a seat.
So I sat at their table. It was during the Beautiful Mind when that movie was nominated. And I sat next to Ron Howard's wife, because that was the empty seat. Mrs. Howard. And she talked to me. Then she came, and then I sat in Jennifer Connelly's seat and talked to Ron. And you're not allowed to talk to them unless they talk to you. and they started talking to me, asked where I got my dress. J.C. Penney. And then like he's like, "Would you like some food?" He offered me his food. Russell Crowe.
Did he feed you?
He fed me. He put it. That was when he was having the security issue too, of like he had to have guards with him at all times. But really, really nice.
Wow.
You know what I love? I love when there's a true like when famous people meet famous people.
Yeah.
And you can tell that there's
Do you
like
think he sensed that from me?
Yeah, exactly. Right.
No, you know what? That's a great point. Look at someone like Eddie Vedder. I got to tell you,
Exactly.
the guy is such a huge fan that when was it me that even said it to him? No, better example. I'm sorry, John Cusack. So somehow a guy I was with is friendly enough with him. John is a huge Cubs fan, huge. So we sat in his suite. All John wanted to do was meet Joe Madden. He thought Joe, like he was so nervous and excited about hanging with Joe Madden. That's all that mattered. Did not matter that it's John Cusack. Say anything, in your eyes. He just wanted to be with Joe. So the game's over, went back to the hotel. This was in earlier in the season. And John just sat there the whole time drilling Joe on like crazy trivia.
Right.
Literally, I probably already told this story. Things like he would say, "Hey, Joe, remember 2 weeks ago when Rizzo slid into second base in the fourth inning? Were you mad?" And Joe's like, I don't remember that. Like, it didn't matter to him, but
Right.
Cusack was so excited.
I mean, and if you didn't see the seventh inning stretch when Eddie Vedder sang, David Ross, and could you imagine being David Ross and hear, it's Game 5 of the World Series,
and Eddie's talking about you,
and not only talking, but like giving a whole speech about you. I mean, it's just, when that stuff happens, people come up to. I'm friends with, as you know, Rondé Barber, who's, a big deal in the Tampa Bay area. And when we're around, people meet him and he meets people and people say they're a big fan of his. Famous people say he's a big fan of him or vice versa. It's just such a weird dynamic because here you have, an icon like Eddie Vedder, and then a journeyman really. David Ross has been a journeyman his whole career.
But that just shows you the power of like, you can't, whatever we're fans of, right? So if what Eddie Vedder loved was, radio broadcasting and whatever that part was, he might be a huge fan of Uncle Brucey. I don't, whatever the thing is, it's just the way it works.
It's funny. Cool. I remember the movie Any Given Sunday. I don't know if you remember with Jamie Foxx and De Niro. And in San Francisco, it was a movie about football and a family that owned football. And they, like actors do, had to do some research. So for a couple of weeks, De Niro, Jamie Foxx, and Cameron Diaz flew up to San Francisco and sat in Mr. D in the DeBartolo's box. And I'll never forget De Niro coming up to Mr. D and saying what a big fan he was and thank you for all the years. And it was like a surreal moment. Like here you have De Niro talking to Mr. D, thanking him for all the,
right.
It was
John Bon Jovi.
Yeah.
We were at some event in Tennessee. We were in Nashville for something, and I was with Mr. D. Something for the Hall of Fame. They were announcing. I don't remember what it was. And John Bon Jovi's a couple of seats away, and I'm from New York. I grew up.
He's your hero.
Bon Jovi was no, he's not a hero. But Bon Jovi was a big deal.
Isn't he from Jersey?
Huge. He's Jersey, but in the New York area, right?
Jersey. That's the only time it's okay to compare Jersey to New York when you're talking about John Bon Jovi, I guess, right?
So I go to bring Mr. D. I said to Mr. D, you should meet John Bon Jovi, because I wanted to meet him too. Lisa's with me. I bring Mr. D over and I go, hey, John, Don Miggs, my father-in-law. Oh, no, this was before I brought him over. I said, my father-in-law, I said, I'm a big fan of yours. My father-in-law is a fan of what you do, too. He goes, Eddie D, can you please bring him over to me? Can you please bring him over? I bring him over, and he actually said to Mr. D, he goes, I have spent
He's a huge football.
He said, I've spent my entire life making my team, my band, modeling after what you did with the team. Can I hug you?
Yeah, and I think that what that boils down to is sometimes we forget that these people, Eddie Vedder is like, to me, I mean, you have a personal relationship, but to me, he's just like this icon, and we forget, I think sometimes, they're just normal people.
He's just a guy that would be sitting here talking the same things we're
just
talking
like how I get fired up about sports and my sports fans. I'm just not famous, but just because they're icons and been around forever, and we forget that they're just
right
people.
And in the end of that kind of dovetails back into the whole Trump thing. In the end, Trump's just a guy. He's just a guy that's going to hopefully do the best that he can do. And He's going to make mistakes, like Eddie, like when we're talking, all of us, like, and he's a fan of what he's a fan of. He's going to do what he's going to do. And in the end, we're going to get. But I'm trying to tie it back into something positive.
It was so good. Like, you just need to, like, tighten that.
JJ, help me with it. Give me a help.
He's just a guy. We're all here together, and go team.
Okay.
I don't. You're
okay.
You're on your own on this one.
All right.
Yeah.
Jamie, should we do the 20-second thing, or we're not at that point?
No, we got time for that. Absolutely.
Let's
So the way we wrap up the show is we have a what we call the final seconds, where everyone has exactly 20 seconds to talk about whatever they want. And they can't go long. They have to keep talking. And when the buzzer hits, it's time to shut up. So Don Miggs, since you're the Miggs of the Miggs and Swig, you get to go first. I got to keep this up. Sorry. And go.
With Veterans Day behind us, I want to give a shout out to my father, who served in Vietnam and was over there when I was born. And when he came back, he wasn't quite sure what my name was. He actually thought it was David because he and my mom had agreed upon that. So, Dad, I hope it's okay that my name's Don. You've done me very proud, and I hope to make you proud as well. I'm also working on.
So if you just kept it to the Veterans Day.
All right. Perfect. And 20 seconds for the Swig half. Here we go.
I just, this whole week obviously has been very interesting and something as a U.S. History major we've never seen, but I just want to remind everybody that it's going to take time and that hopefully that this country will unite. We've had 250 plus years of uniting, and we will get over this and we will come together.
Very good. And mine is on the similar thing. Here we go. The election is over. Whether you like the outcome or not, it's happened. And now that we've all had nearly a week to process it, America needs a break. So from now until Inauguration Day, I'm demanding a silence on politics. Starting Monday up until January 20th, if you mention the election to me, I retain the right to knock your teeth out. It's a rule, and I mean it. It's going to happen. I'm done.
All right. Well, you seem like you're part of the Trump thing now. You're getting aggressive.
No, I didn't care who won. Just, okay, we've had a year of them talking about it.
A year and a half.
It's happened. Give us time to process it.
I agree.
It's the holidays, for Christ's sake.
It is the holidays, by the way. They are upon us. So, Ben, you're not here next week?
No.
All right. Well.
Neither are you.
I'm not. What's next week?
Just JoJo next week.
JoJo
we
and JJ.
We will be in San Francisco.
Oh, yeah, we're going to be in San Francisco. Should be exciting. I'm excited for Thanksgiving. Going to go out and do Thanksgiving things. I don't know what I'm saying.
You're just excited to eat. All right. Wrap it up. We got to go home, right?
All right, we do. I don't want to go home now. Now I'm here.
Well, Mo's can we just say congratulations to Mo really quick? Mo's getting married today.
Yes.
Unfortunately, I don't know if it's good news or bad news, but
he didn't give us an invite. Mine must have gotten lost in my text because
you have so many other famous people. Congratulations, Mo. May this one last longer than your first one did.
Oh, that's not right. I love his girl.
Oh, two.
I love his girl. Right. She's great, and Mo deserves happiness, and it seems like those two are going to find it. So that's good. Hey, be good to each other. Be good to yourselves. Remember, Facebook is not reality. If you really want to have a conversation with someone, pick up the phone and have the conversation. And be tolerant of other people's sides, even if they don't agree with your side, okay? Be good. Miggs and Swig Show.